This is Supernaught. My name is Beth Kelling, and I'm going to talk about spirituality, sobriety, and the spectrum of self. I've loved talking about spirituality for as long as I can remember, and I've been on a sobriety journey since 2020. The more I talk about sobriety, the stronger I become. The more I explore spirituality, the more fulfilled I feel. This is a space for stories and for the moments where struggle meets transformation. This is Supernaught. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Bethy Bear.
Thanks for being my first guest on Supernaught.
Supernaught.
For those who don't know, Steve and I are brother and sister. And for those watching who are like, how is that possible? Look at this drastic age difference. I'm so young and vibrant, and you're like clearly middle-aged. So why don't you tell the story that you love to tell when I was growing up of how I came into existence?
Okay. So back in those days, every town had at least one or two drugstores where you didn't have to go all the way to Walmart or anywhere. You got a haircut, you got whatever you needed, you got your birth control. So I was with Dad on a Saturday, and we went to Hall Drug, and he's gets something, and then he kind of looks down and tells me, yeah, your mom wants me to get one of those vasectomies, but no, this is good enough. And then literally, I don't know, 3 months later, they were like, well, it didn't work. You're going to have another, brother or sister. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they didn't want you. The rest of us wanted you. Mom and Dad definitely did not. But yeah, Eddie and I and Michael wanted you for sure.
Good. Okay. All right. So that clears up this drastic age difference of 15 years.
Yes. Oh, and then Dad did get a vasectomy shortly after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So one of the main themes of this podcast is spirituality. And the reason I wanted you on as my first guest is because you were the first person I ever heard decide to question the faith that they were brought up in. You were the first person that made me realize I should go out and find my own truth. That just because I was born into a certain religion doesn't mean that I should naively, blindly accept the story laid before me. I was a teenager, and I can remember right where we were. It was in the office here, and you said to E that you were renouncing Christianity until you researched every other religion, at least the mainstream ones. You made it sound so obvious to me that it was wild and maybe even irresponsible to grow up believing what you were told. And so I wanted to say for the record that I'm getting more and more excited about Christianity all the time. But what a blessing it is to have the opportunity to be excited about it, because I alone am choosing it, to know that I went out and searched and have found my own version of truth. So I'm not sure how long it would have taken me to do that. Maybe everybody realizes that. Maybe it's obvious to everybody that they should do that. But I'm not sure, because in Mora, Minnesota, rural Minnesota, I was in my mid-20s before I could openly say that I was going to yoga classes, because people thought that was voodoo, devil's juice,
Yeah.
So for you to have given me at such a young age the opportunity to think outside of that, because I didn't even know it was okay to learn about another religion, let alone dive into one. So when I was 19 or 20, I told Mom that I was interested in Buddhism, and she brought me to a couple temples in the metro. But she literally said, let's just not tell your dad about this. So my question is, what brought you to this decision? This had to have been 25 years ago or so, but how did people react? What was your mind state?
Well, it's probably a 10-year process of, the first time I thought about, this just doesn't seem right to me, to, being able to even say it out loud to myself, let alone telling other people. And very few people, that probably the first 10 years that I ever talked about it with openly. Because, you were a few hundred years ago, you get burnt at the stake, for saying that you didn't believe in Jesus or, whatever religion you were supposed to believe in. And it was scary. And I think that that's, part of the stronghold of religion is that gets burnt into your brain at such a young age that it is sinful to even think about anything else other than just to follow what exactly, what you're told. At Zion, in Mora, the pastor there told us openly that every other person in the city of Mora at every other church was going to go to hell because they went to churches other than Zion Lutheran Missouri Synod Church. Like, oh, well, you can talk to them, but just don't plan on seeing them after you die because they're all going to hell. So it wasn't even like, Muslims or Hindus or, some completely, radically different religion. It was other people that were supposedly, also Christians. So what started me on the path of questioning it? Well, just the idea that where you're born decides, what religion. And because I happened to be born in a family that not only was Christian, but happened to be German, Missouri Synod Lutheran. And I was one of the select few out of billions of people because of where I was born. Bullshit. Complete crap. And every religion has a story, or followers of the religion have stories about what makes them feel like it's real to them, the experiences that they've had, external and internal. Well, they all have it. There's no religion that survives that doesn't, have people who, to their core, internally and externally, feel like they have justification and relevance for believing what they believe. Well, how is that possible? So it was like a 10-year process of just stripping away every layer, every detail of, well, why do I believe this? And it wasn't just religion by any means. It was every single thing. Do I believe this to be a truth because this is what I was told, or because this is what I've observed? And then even when you get down to the things that you believe it's because what you've observed, you realize that you've observed such a tiny fraction of, experience that your judgment can be completely biased or skewed, or the sample size is just too small to make decisions on. So, I believe almost nothing at this point because, and it probably the breakthrough was accepting that it doesn't matter. So much of what we're concerned about every day really has no effect on utility value of our lives, quality of life. It's just our opinions. I like that sweater color or the knit pattern or whatever. Okay, that's fine. You can like it all you want, but it's not better than, my pattern. Mm-hmm. It's completely benign, and most of our lives are completely benign. And so it doesn't matter what you believe or what you think is true or not true. If it makes you happy, great. If it gives you inspiration, great. But it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you remember who the first person or first couple people that you did say it to? I mean...
probably maybe Devin was the first person.
How old? He would have been...
He was probably in college. Yeah.
Well, I was a teenager when I heard you tell Ethan, but...
Well, maybe Ethan was the first person that I started arguing with, because we argued about everything, whether I believed it or not. I was probably in the process of getting there.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where I severely criticized and chastised him for not going to church.
Robin says you did him too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So when I was a thumper, and then I would see these other people who were apparently Jesus followers, but not doing anything about it, never going to church, not bringing their kids to church. Yeah, I mean, I was a complete dick about it. Mm-hmm. If I believe something, at that age, if I believed it, everybody should believe it. And especially if you tell me you believe it, but you don't actually act on it, well, then I was going to be a total asshole to you. So, yeah, I was to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it was like literally when he started going to church was when I stopped.
Yeah.
And then it was like, fuck, it's because I've always loved to argue. Mm-hmm. What difference does it make? Pick a side. Mm-hmm. I'll argue either side for fun. Mm-hmm. Because, right, you never lose an argument, you just learn. Right? If somebody can shame you with the dumb, you say something and you can't defend it.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned
Well,
something.
you always get mad at me for not arguing with you enough. And then I'm like, but I agree
what
with
use
what
are
you're
you
saying.
to me if you don't argue with me?
Except that one time a week after you said it to me. And then we're talking about drive time.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like getting upset. And I was like, you literally just told me to argue with you. And you're
Well,
like,
I didn't
shoot,
say I wasn't going to
did.
get upset. That's okay. I mean, ideally, you don't get emotional about an argument. You argue the points, the merits of your point of view, and if you can't defend them, you fucking lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, did you dive in to other religions, or did you kind of just stop believing what you? Yeah.
No.
So I did hear you say that you were going to research other religions. So there's still time. You're not that old yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And maybe you don't want to, and that's fine.
the other part about it is, I don't think we have as much control as we think we do, or we wish we had, in how our own minds work. Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, I could wake up tomorrow and be like, "Wow, I've been an idiot for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Jesus is real. I can feel him right here." That literally might happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And there's very little I can consciously do to control that. Because mom and dad used to always say, well, faith is a gift. Well, I guess I don't have the fucking gift.
So who is in control then?
I don't know.
What comes into your brain?
A perfect example of I don't know, and it's okay not to know.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to bash, our Father too much here, but he needs to know answers to everything. Everything. He can't walk by somebody's desk without well, what's this? Or why is this here? Who does this belong to?
100%.
He needs to know the answer to everything. And I've observed that and just decided I don't need to know the answers to anything except what directly affects my day-to-day life. Everything else is...
But that's real faith.
It's just trivia at that point.
Yeah. But I think that's what God wants us to feel is, we don't have to know everything because we trust him. I think Dad is a bad example of somebody who is religious, who does need to know everything. That's just how his brain works. But so that's almost like a faith. You're putting faith in something, aren't you? By not needing to know everything because somebody has it figured out.
I don't need to have it. I wake up every morning. I'm alive. My legs work. My arms work. My eyes are working. I get up. Even if I didn't have all those things, I could crawl out of bed to, find nourishment. Mm-hmm. What do I need to have faith in? Everything works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I survive. And if it doesn't work and I die, well, so does everything else. Yeah. I'm not special. I'm not going to live forever. Yeah. Everything dies.
Well, with modern technology, we might live quite a while.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
But, the next generation, evolution, progress can't be made. If we lived forever, we'd probably just be holding the world back. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's something special about knowing you're going to die and that life is short, and then
to me, it's more meaningful because there's not some magic place you're going to go to after you die, and you're going to get to see everyone, and you get to make up for all the bad stuff you did in purgatory if you're a Catholic or something. This is it. And
that's why I'm not scared of AI, because I think that they're going to be jealous of us for that exact reason. Not jealous, like mean to us jealous, but like respect us for
because we're
that
precious
we have that
and fragile and only here for a short time, so they better appreciate us.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they help remind us that that's why we're here and help us hold on to that and help us be more creative.
Yeah. I don't know why we're here. Just we are. And maybe we'll find out when we die. Mm-hmm. Either way, but I'm fairly confident that because I don't believe in a very specific thing, that I'm going to be somehow tortured in, hell for eternity. Mm-hmm. That's absurd. I don't think I'm ever going to wake up and think that is a real thing. Right.
Well, I believe you can be in hell on earth if your thoughts are controlling in a negative way. That's hell on earth. A lot of people are living in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's sad.
I think you can live in heaven and on this earth as well.
But just like, I was saying that you can't control, how do those people get out of that? It's not like you can just
Well, I think
snap out of
meditating, deep breathing.
medication.
In some ways, yes, that
Yeah.
is needed at times when you really can't get out because brain chemistry. So I have realized that B12s or any B vitamins get me depressed. And 25% of population has this mutation that I have. I took that Gary Brecka mutation. I think I had to send my blood in. And it's like MTRR, MRTT. I can't remember which mutation it is. Look it up. No, but not right now. But I was drinking these B12s for 2 days last week, and all of a sudden, I got home, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like my brain did something where I was depressed, and I was like, "What do I have to be depressed about? There's nothing literally going on." But then it clicked that 3 other times when I know this, I know I shouldn't take Bs,
Yeah.
and so I stopped, and now I'm feeling better. But it was like my brain did this thing where it's like so clearly a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
So of course I support medication for people who are having a hard time and can't get out of things because I think sometimes there's nothing else you can do. But for me,
sure, and it's too bad that there's a stigma to it. But yeah, I wear cheaters because my eyes aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People use hearing aids. They do all sorts of things to make their lives better or to improve what isn't quite perfect. And just because, you have to take some meds because of a chemical imbalance that messes with your mind. It's too bad that there's such a negative stigma about that.
And those meds, or before you're on the meds, your brain might be in patterns of talking negatively to yourself and about other people. But so then it's also your responsibility once you have some kind of help to get you out of that compulsive thinking, you have to make an effort at thinking positive thoughts, meditating, shutting your brain off, breathing.
But even getting to the point, but getting to the point where you're willing to do that isn't always a choice either.
For sure.
It's sometimes it just feels so much better to be angry and to be upset.
It can be addictive.
Right? You had asked me, to pick a song. My favorite songs are like Seether, like horrible.
I was scared you were gonna pick a song that was like a rager.
I hate the lyrics. It's not the. I love the music, but then you end up you're listening to these lyrics. It's like I feel bad for these people because this could be a really cool song about something
Yeah, but
something great.
Yeah, but you can't listen to the lyrics.
But there's just so much anger out there, and so I think that there's a pretty easy pathway in society for people to feel bad for themselves and like a victim. Right? I mean, if you want to be a victim, there's it's not a pathway, it's a freeway to allow you and to encourage you to embrace victimhood. Why? I don't know. There must be money in it for somebody.
I mean, that's why I think the media is making so much money right now because they are.
Yeah.
What's the word? Taking that out of people. I mean, keeping people stuck in that.
Yeah. Pharmaceuticals making money off people who do take the drugs and convincing people that it's somebody else's fault. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a feeling and it's an emotion to feel negative and sad, and that can be hard to let go of when you felt it for so long, or if you grew up in a household where you felt that way.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like almost if you let it go, you're abandoning that part of yourself.
Yeah. But but at the same time that somebody who feels like a victim and then embraces that, I don't think that that's their fault, and so I don't think we can take credit for being like, oh, we're such smart, enlightened people that we haven't fallen into that trap.
No,
it's not our. I don't know why.
No.
Why we're not those people?
I think it takes work. It takes conscious work. what's that movie about? What's his name? Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. Did you ever watch it? I think I told you to. So his wife goes up to the reporter and says, he's not just naturally this nice and good of a person. He has to work really hard at it. He swims every single day. He gets his demons out some way, you know? That's why people run. That's why people work themselves hard. I think that's why people do lots of things.
There probably is some balance. Maybe that's the spirituality is that if you're good at one thing, it's probably at the expense of something else. If you're sensitive to one thing, it's probably because you're ignoring something else. It's really hard to be super conscientious of your health and fitness and work hard and be in control of your relationships or, doing what you can to be in control and positive and all at the same time. Usually it's I am focusing on work right now and fuck everything else. Or I'm going to ignore work because I want to spend time with, family. And then work suffers. It's impossible to serve more than one master. Yeah.
You can't be good at absolutely everything. You have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Maybe right now you're serving ice baths. Are you still cold plunging?
No. I did that for about a month. And then I really started to feel like it was, if anything, it was hurting my workouts because, I'm working out right afterwards and I was frozen for the first 20 minutes. I could feel the cold in my bones for 20 minutes into my workout. I'm like, okay, well, that has to be slowing my metabolism down. It has to be slowing everything. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it dead center between workouts, not right before or right after.
Yeah. I've just been doing it on days that I think are going to be hard, and I want to just get the hardest thing out of the way. And I wanted to today, but today I just really wanted to stay in my feminine energy. And it seems like cold plunging is kind of more of a masculine, I'm going to do hard things type
Bullshit.
energy.
So I was perfectly happy if the water was 59, 60 degrees and go in.
Yeah.
Nicole would drain the tub because it comes out of the faucet at 40 degrees. She would drain the tub and get it down to at least 50 and be in there for 4 minutes.
She's always been a tough bitch.
She is fucking tough. And if she happened to get up before me and drain the tub and get it down to that temperature, well, I couldn't add hot water. So it's brutal. There's a huge difference between 60 degrees and 50 degrees.
Right. It comes out at mine at 57 and I can get it down to 54 with some ice. You would think it would get colder, but it wasn't. But when I was just in Iceland and we were in this lagoon and they had a cold, so it was I think it was probably 35 because that's what the temperature was outside, 35, 36, because there wasn't any air flowing into it. It just...
Yeah.
And the way that it takes your breath away. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing.
It is. Cause when you're in the tub, you can't get your whole body in it at one time. So I would, without thinking, I would just immediately go from bed to the tub. No thinking whatsoever. Just sit right down. And it's 5 seconds of, oh my God. But then every time you slide a little bit deeper into it, you have that process all over again because you're trying to get your whole body into it. And so it was brutal, but at the same time, it was just proving to yourself that you're not going to die and just proving to yourself that you can do it if you want to.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the main reason I'm doing it is to prove to myself that I can do the hard things.
That was one of, you asked about job sites in the spring and mud. My actual favorite memory of building was with Eddie, our older brother, in the wintertime. It had to be at least 20 below, a job site in Zimmerman. It's right on 169, so every time I go down, drive 169 through Zimmerman, I get to look at this building. But it was so brutally cold. There was 4 of us, Eddie and I and 2 other guys, and we walked around the corner of the building and the other 2 guys were literally hugging each other kind of almost crying because it was so cold. And
Aw.
Ed and I just got this warm feeling of joy inside of us because, I mean, it was cold, but we weren't, tearing up or anything. And we threw our hats off, threw our gloves off, took our jackets off, started making snowmen and having a snowball fight just to taunt the other guys that, we were stronger men than they were.
Cute.
Yeah. Favorite memory of building a shed with Ed.
Very cute. I'll remember that one. So I am gonna have to bring you to a EDM concert. I went to my first one last week, and because you said you like you don't like the lyrics, but you like the rager music noise, like an EDM concert, you just stand there and it vibrates your whole body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was definitely the oldest one there. I was almost 40 and just getting into them now. Kind of silly, but I don't care because it was so amazing. And I'm like already.
That's the
looking
name
at
of the
more.
artist is EDM?
No, he was Lane 8, but EDM is electronic dance music. I don't know. But that's when
It's a
it's just like,
genre.
a genre, and it just vibrates
Okay.
your whole body.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'll
it'd be
check it
good.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a massage for your brain, somebody called it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, that could be good.
Yeah. And there's not too many lyrics. There's some, but like you said, the lyrics on Seether and some of these bands that you like, it's like not good to put into your soul.
It probably isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But you need the beat. You need the.
I don't know. I like the guitar. Yeah, I like the drums. I like the bass. But yeah, the lyrics are all pretty silly.
Cool. Well, I think that I'm going to have you on Supernaught quite often, hopefully once a month, because you have so much insight. Supernaught means a voyager searching and striving for betterment and working to improve themselves, their lives, and their surroundings. So what do you do right now that you don't want your grandkids to do when they're your age?
What do I do right now that I don't want my grandkids to do? I listen to audiobooks instead of read books. So it would be great if they learned to love to read actual paperback books instead of just listen to audio. It's always been a huge weakness of mine. If I can't sleep, pick up a book instantly. Fall asleep. So I hope they learn to read.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you do that you hope your grandkids do when they're your age?
If they ever recognize something in themselves that creates fear or anxiety or doubt, that they go straight into it instead of avoiding it, trying to circumvent it or pretend it's not there. Fucking tackle it.
Yeah, we've
It's
talked
the
about
biggest
that.
thrill. I mean, if you weren't afraid you were going to die, skydiving would be boring. I mean, whoa, okay, wow. But
still
it's
feels
the
good, the
fact
wind
that
in your
you're
hair,
gonna, that there's a real chance you're gonna die is what makes skydiving awesome, or rock climbing, or driving your motorcycle faster than you should. I'm not saying all those things are wise, smart things to do, but if the fear of public speaking, that's one of your greatest accomplishments in life, of overcoming something, literally crying when the teacher made you do your first speech in high school, to now you do it almost every day.
Yeah.
You could have done the exact opposite and taken an F on that, or whatever, and never engaged with it, but you hit it straight on. So
Yeah, we talk about that often, chasing the things that scare us the most or even dislike. It's so funny. I'm not going to be able to think of any examples right now, but things even that I dislike that I start to lean into, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's a reason I disliked this, because I had to figure out some aspect of it that I did like. And yes, especially public speaking. In high school, cried every time. when I became crew manager at Sherman, and I did a speech in the morning meeting, and then I went home that afternoon and cried for like 3 hours. I just had to get all the emotions out. And even this is so scary to me, but I never would have been able to do this if it wasn't the small steps that I took going
But
towards
I mean, you
it.
look back at it now, and it's silly, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not going to take long before you think that this was silly, and it's all being nervous about it was silly.
Yeah. And the cold plunging too. I mean, I dislike being cold more than anything. I've tried to move away from Minnesota so many times.
One of the 6 blanket people. Yeah.
Yes. A heated blanket of the heated little packs that I just get home and I put all over my body. But the cold plunging, and shout out to my friend Shannon. She literally was dragging me to this cold plunge the first time I ever did one at a retreat in Bayfield, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
There was like an outside tub. It was like 36 degrees. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. There's no way I would ever do something like that. And she's like, it's right here. There's a sauna right here. You're going to do it. And the mind clarity and the natural high that I got from that, so glad I did it. So thank you, Shannon.
And it's a stepping stone, a building block to everything else, because you get a few of those under your belt, things that you were afraid of or didn't have the right level of self-confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then everything just kind of tips like dominoes after that. It's like, well, okay, what can I logically be afraid of after what I've been through already?
Yeah. So that's kind of my spirituality, is doing hard things.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on.
You're
Love
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Naut comes from the Greek word sailor and means voyager or traveler. Like an astronaut searching the stars, a supernaut is one searching the inner and outer worlds of self, navigating life, consciousness, and reality, striving for betterment. The paradox is that seeking and striving can create more unrest and more unhappiness. So while calm seas may not make great sailors, I plan to explore the idea of light rescuing darkness instead of fighting it.